Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a scintillating episode of How to Lose a Crit Race. We are back after a considerable break. The break has been for a variety of reasons. Number one being I just haven't been in the condition to crit race. So here we are at the beautiful Tour of Orange, an event that occurred last weekend. So that is the weekend running from the 10th, Saturday the 10th to the Sunday the 11th, and it was in 3 stages. Stage 1, a time trial, which I did woeful in. My mate Al caught me and passed me in a 6.7k time trial when he had a 30-second advantage. Now, granted, Al is recently single, ladies, if you're out there, and also he lives alone, and that gives him a bit more time to train than a married dad. But excuses aside, because let's just hit the elephant in the room right away. I am in no condition to be crit racing. I took some positives and some negatives out of this whole weekend. Honestly, I was overall quite disappointed with my performance, as you'll see later in the race, and we'll come back to this. But the thing that I took away from it is that I've got the strength, I just don't have the fitness, and I think fitness comes back a lot easier than strength. So I guess that's a positive to take. And so really, we're going to lose this crit race, well, a little bit because of some bad tactics, but honestly, mostly just out of the sheer fact that, unlike the ZZ Top song, I did not have legs and I did not know how to use them. So we're coming towards the end of the first neutralised lap here, and it's been kind of cruising. I don't know why I say the first, it's the only neutralised lap, and we are about to roll through here, and then once we hit this tent, it is all guns blazing. Now, there have been some issues with the power, and obviously the speed does not seem to be working at the moment. I hope that does drop in. I've had some issues with gum and verb just kicking the bucket, so I'm using the cyclic metrics at the moment, and they are not perfect. So if the speed does not come up, I apologise, but let's just say the average is about 36.7 Ks for this race. Now, this turn here is a pretty sharp one, and we're going to see me almost come a cropper on here a bit later, and so I end up taking this line here for most of it. But more importantly, here we go, ladies and gents, full send. Now, again, some of my gear has just not been working the way I wanted it to. I don't know why, but the rear camera didn't record. But just let me tell you, this attack is a failure. I felt pretty good in this one. You can see I'm putting out my FTP is 270, and I'm putting out sort of 350. So I'm going, above and beyond my threshold. But the problem is, as you can see here, it's the maintenance of that effort that is just not possible. Now, I'm doing the don't look back. I'm taking the advice of the SPS commentators. Never look over your shoulder. The moment you look over the shoulder, you're already beat. But I'm pretty gassed at this point, and I've been going for about half a lap. And you'll see in a little bit that the bunch is just going to swallow me up as we come to this tent. And that is a whole bunch of bickies just kind of wasted. And yeah, that really, for a while, after I do eventually get taken, they take mercy on me. So to coming into this turn, because really, I think it is coming into this turn, you want to be on the front coming into this corner. It may even be this one where I come a cropper a little bit. On the inside here, you can see on the left there's a bit of this grass, and on the inside there is a lot of that, which you can see quite well in the camera there. Actually, well done, cyclic. This attack's lasting longer than I remember. But let me tell you, please, let me assure you, there's no reason for me to be doing this. There we go. There it is. And there's an attack straight off the front, which classic shit tactics, I don't have the gas to chase that down because I've been putting out, right on my limit. So here I am after putting on my limit, trying to chase down an attack, and you can see I'm back up to 630 watts. This is just wasted energy, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I keep doing this. It's a little bit of fun, but really, I guess my mentality when it comes to racing is it's supposed to be a good time, and to me, full send is a good time. But this attack doesn't work, and just that guy that went off the front there, this race doesn't work out perfectly for him. You'll see that a little bit later. So yeah, just bear in mind while you can what a great racer he is, because yeah, it goes a bit foul for him. So that then brings in something that I would like to, I guess, address in regards to this race and a couple of races that I've been in lately, and it just comes down to aggression when riding. I understand that we're here to win. When I line up for a race, I intend to get the win, but I don't want to get the win at, I guess, the cost of making someone else feel unsafe. I think there is still a real need to remember that even in a bunch, we should be riding courteously. I have brought this up in the past, and I've received, your classic, well, Rubbin's racing and that's crit racing, and to an extent, I understand that we are all accepting a certain level of risk when we come out and we race on a crit track. But I think the flip side of that is that we should not normalise aggressive riding. Now, there is a crash in this race. I'm not involved in the race at that point because I am so woeful at this, my fitness is so woeful at this time. However, as a result, I can't attribute it to aggressive riding, but there was some aggressive riding in this race. And I think a lot of people that are crit racing in C grade, B grade, D grade need to consider what they're looking at getting out of this, because it pushes people out of the sport, and crashes are scary and they're quite frankly dangerous, and I don't think that you have the right, just so that you can win, to potentially put someone in hospital. I still think that we should be doing everything that we possibly can on the crit track to avoid incidents, and if that means coming fifth instead of first, then honestly I think you just got to wear that. Hey, I think you got to stomach that. That's just the reality of the sport. We want more people participating in this, and we need to ride more courteously. There is still space for riding courteously in a crit peloton. And speaking of courtesy, and I want this to come across in the right way, and I don't even know whether this is fair to say in relation to this race, though I do kind of feel like it is. There are a few people lining up on the start line talking about racing B in clubs and then coming here and racing C, and there's a term for that. It's a derogatory term. I don't want to throw it around here because I don't know even if that's fair, and you can chalk this just as much up to me not being fit, but I think if you race B grade in club, you should race B grade at these races, and if they are too challenging, maybe it's because people should be racing A grade that are racing B grade. But by you putting yourself down a grade, what you are doing is pushing people from C grade down to D grade, and that has a knock-on effect all the way down to a situation where some people might not feel they have a place in racing, or they might not feel like they're good enough to. So I think it's food for thought. What do you think? That's my rant over, and let's have a bit of a chat about the crit track while we're running through this, because this is a pretty amazing crit track for Orange Cycling Club. And in case I haven't addressed it, this is taking place in Orange in not central New South Wales. Maybe it is, I don't know. My geography is not excellent, but I think it's called the Central Tablelands. Talking out of my ass. Anyway, if you drive 3 hours west from Sydney, you get to Orange, and it is gorgeous, and it is a quite, well, I guess it's a growing town, but it's a rural town, and they've got this awesome crit track. And we were having a chat to Neil from Orange Cycling Club, and he said that they don't often run their crit races here. They run them somewhere else, and we were quite confused about why this was the case. And it turns out that the reason why they don't run their crit races here is because as we come around this corner, you will see a car park on the left, just as we come straight down here, so just past this tree. And in the council's infinite wisdom, just yonder on the other side of that car park is an off-leash dog park. And you will see as we come up to the left here, there is a footpath, and Neil said that a lot of people just continue to walk their dogs off leash and they wander onto the crit track, and that can be catastrophic. So this event was put on by Oz Cycling, which is the reason why they have been able to run a, I guess, crit race, because you can see they've even put fencing along the side here to try and keep kids out, because yes, that is a children's playground right next to a crit track as well. And I guess it's just Orange Council was amazing, but a lot of the time, sort of cycling infrastructure, you kind of get the impression it's put up maybe without full consultation with cyclists. And again, maybe I'm throwing shade where it doesn't belong, but it does seem a bit crazy to put a crit track where, as you can see, and the Ks are working. 56 Ks an hour there, right next to an off-leash dog park, is not the best idea. But anyway, let's talk about the track. You've had a bit of a look at it. There's two awesome stretches along here. This stretch along here is quite fast, and then come around a few bends. They're quite easy to take. There's only really two corners in here that can present a bit of a challenge, and then as you come down this straight here, you really do start to pick up quite a bit of speed, coming into a turn past the car park and then up a slight rise. This slight rise can be a bit of a challenge, and I think it might even be this lap. There is a pedal strike, because as you can see, it is quite off camber here. Maybe it's not that lap, but the turn there is quite off camber, and it is quite sharp, and so this can, yeah, I would imagine they get quite a few pedal strikes here. Then there's this big straight, a little bit of an uphill stretch. It's an uphill sprint to the finish line here, which I think is quite good. And then again, you start to come around to the tightest corner. And I defaulted to taking the outside line on this corner every single time. I think it's the best line to take, because in my head, you've got to cut off a lot of speed when you come around this quite sharp corner, or if you're on the inside. And I did try it on the inside. So I think you either want to be on the front, on the inside here, otherwise you got to wash off a lot of speed that you can really hold if you take that outside line. And a lot of the time you'll see I sort of slip, but because I'm able to keep my momentum, these guys are speeding up and I'm able to hold. Obviously a bad example here because the gas has been put down, and there are quite a few attacks out of here, and it is one that you definitely can attack out of the front on. Yeah, after going around here a few times, I think if you are doing Tour of Orange, either on the front, on the inside, or take the outside line. But again, that's maybe just me not being an aggressive enough rider. But again, I don't like being an aggressive rider because I want to go home to my wife and kids. And as you'll see a bit later in this race, there are some people that are going home to their wife and kids with a little bit less skin. Here we are again on this corner, and I'm just keeping an eye out for that pedal strike. This bloke in black, it's funny because I only recently started shaving my legs. But this dude in black, he looks like a proper cyclist, but then he doesn't have his legs shaved, and that really threw me because physique, his kit, his helmet, he looks legit. It's this Dubbo guy here that was a bit argy-bargy, by the way. He looks legit, and then he's got these hairy pins. There's Al on the left there, looking fantastic in his Randwick kit. So Al is the dude I came up with. I've done a couple of races with Al. Oh, there's the inside. And see how I just lost that, I lost that momentum. You got to do a lot more accelerations to try and get out of there. I think it's 97 here. He's running a GoPro. He got some good footage a bit later of the El Stacco. But there are 3 Park Life CC guys. Cannot tell which one it is from the back, but one of them has a proper crack a bit later. Anyway, really we sort of just settled into default here. So I think I've sort of jabbered about as much as I possibly can. So I'm going to give you a bit of a break from listening to me yap. And I'm going to fast forward this a little bit.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll go show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams into modestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable.
So at this point in the race, you might start to think that maybe I've done some growth, maybe I've shown some self-reflection. I've been listening to the people that keep telling me that I'm a dickhead for going flat chat when really I should just be kicking back. And to you, I say, you're a dickhead. Because here we go again. Look at that, 1,167 watts. What a boss. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, legs are cooking, man. For me, anyway. Like, what's a relative, right? But for me, like, this is a pretty blistering attack. The problem is going on with it. And you gotta do a blistering attack here. It's not like there's a point where you can come out of the wheels and really surprise people. Like, it has to be balls to the wall, going full gas, and then, you know, recovering. And I'm just not at the point where I can kind of just get away and sit above threshold for a bit. The body just can't do it. So anyway, this is my second crack. This is where I think I really start to realise that maybe that's the case. But there is one more of these coming. I don't know exactly at what point they catch me. And again, unfortunately, because of the stupid rear camera, I can't show you, but there. And again, the same thing happens again. This dude's sitting on my wheel, he has an attack, and I don't have the legs to go, and I'm just sort of sitting there waiting for someone else to go. And then it's trying to get back onto the wheels. It's just, and I know it's dumb tactics, but at the end of the day, when you realise that you're this cooked and your legs are cactus anyway, it's sort of I was just hoping that I could split this bunch. I think in the back of my head, that's what I'm hoping I can get. I got my mate Al here as I take that corner way too wide. But I think I got a shoulder there or something. Or maybe that's an excuse. But I got my mate Al here. I was kind of hoping Al would come and play with the boys. But he was being a little bitch. So anyway, no Al. And I'm just out there hanging by myself, and yeah, I don't know, it is what it is. Had a crack because my sprint, if I can't stay away from the group there, what chance do I have in a sprint? So anyway, here we'll keep fast forwarding. As you can see, the group, I'm not unhappy. Like, I'm hanging on, I'm catching up the groups by myself there. But yeah, I don't know. I think you can see from all the evidence here, my fitness is just, it's dog's balls. And yeah, my tactics aren't exactly excellent either. But this is just classic Burgess. This is textbook how to lose a crit race. But honestly, this one I was going to lose anyway. So things are actually kind of cooking up here. Sitting there, decent wattage. I don't think the watts are perfectly in sync on this cyclic, but yeah, decent-ish watts. Starting to slow down, groups come back together, everyone's starting to chill a little bit again. And hey, what's this? The rear camera has popped into action because for some reason at this point the rear camera decided she was going to come out to play, which is good to see. We love to see it. As we see Al coming through, and again, it's hard to sync these things up when it jumps in at this point. So I think I've managed to sync them up. I did it, synced the rear camera with the front camera on the last lap bell. So I think I've done a decent job here. As we see, Gillette, the best the man can get, coming through here, old mate that doesn't shave his legs. It's funny how you notice it. Like, I don't know, I'm such a don't do things just because everyone else does them kind of thing, and then now I've shaved them, I'm just noticing everyone that doesn't shave their legs. Speaking of freshly shaved pins, get a load of Al's right there. Oof. He's got the aero socks. This is another thing, aero socks in C grade. Al's in a skin suit and aero socks. He's racing C grade. I can shit on him because he's my mate, but like, you reckon that should even be legal? I reckon you should have to race in C grade. You should have to race in separate nicks and jersey with plain socks, and then in D grade you should have to race in board shorts. I reckon, just to make it, to make sure you've just got the casual punters in there. Skin suit up. Come on, brother. Let's I don't know. Those things are expensive too, but anyway. I think things are starting to chill out. Actually, I think this might be the point, and it's a bit hard to see on here because I am just so pathetically positioned in this crit race, but I believe this is the point where the Park Life CC dude has gone. And he's off the front, and he's going to be off the front for a while, which means there are about 3 laps left. So I'd love to tell you the people that feature well in this, but this is something that I'm not really able to do because I'm just not in the position to, this guy from Goulburn Cycling Club, he's a beast. He does real well. So I actually got pretty good footage of that. I think he's from Randwick Cycling Club. He was a bit upset about that incident, but just having a quick look there, I honestly think he just got squeezed off his line. I don't think anyone deviated that I could see. Maybe he's not Randwick. Anyway, he felt like he'd been. I think he felt like that there was some ungentlemanly warfare in that section of the race, and I'm not 100% sure whether I would agree with that. I don't think he did anything wrong per se, but I also think that was just, I think everyone held their line from what I could see there. Again, some different footage might bring something different out, but yeah, that looked like all's fair in love and war. And honestly, he did a real good job to stay up there because he went into that stuff. Is not, everyone knows riding on grass, but that stuff's not as smooth as you think it is. He's going 40 k's an hour plus, and he hits that. I thought he was down. I thought he was going into the bushes, and yeah, he managed to stay up. So huge effort to him. And we're starting to come into what should be the last couple of laps here, and things will start to heat up here again. We do have someone off the front as well, so that's one of the Park Life CC boys. He's really strong. In fact, that might be him just getting caught there up the front. Again, this is a big field today. I think there were about 30 people in the race all up, maybe 27, 28. So normally in like my C and B grade crits, and we've got 10, 15 people in there, there's just no crowds to look through. So normally I can see what's going on quite well. And yeah, I just didn't feature really in the race, except for when I decided I was going to drop my pants, go full salute, and send it full balls to the wall. I think I'm mixing about a million metaphors there, but yeah, just in the grade Aussies, it's just to fuck around and find out. But yeah, things are kicking up. Oh, hang on, what's this? Everyone's going, so we must have a split up the front. And then it kind of chills out. This is a silly place to attack. I don't understand why you would, because you come up to this turn. I mean, unless you're really going to send it there, I guess. Actually, maybe I'm wrong in that. There could be some advantages to attacking here, just because if you go hard, you get away, you can take these corners a lot better than the bunch can, but at the same time, everyone was sort of really slowing down to take that turn, because it is a really sharp, it's almost an 180 degree turn back on itself. So it is a tough one to get away on, because everyone can just surge back behind you as you're cooking off some of that speed. So you really need to be aggressive there if you want to get away. That being said, there aren't really, as the rear camera seems to have decided it's going to cut itself in half, there aren't really any spots on this crit track where you really ideally can, I guess, get away. It is a tough one in that sense. So I don't know, but what I do know is that we're coming up to the point where I decide that it's time to go full hooligan hefts and to send it again, because we are coming towards the end of this crit race, and I am having a look around and I'm thinking, I don't see a path to victory here. So start sneaking up the inside here, start sneaking up the inside, and this just seems unfair, to be honest. I thought I was so that's the 3 laps to go. So here we go. Strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, because the pace is really about to pick up. Here we are with the Harlequins again, and we got the dudes from Dubbo. We got one of them on the right there. These guys are really strong riders. One of Dubbo guys in the all green skin suit, I think. Apparently he is supposed to be an amazing sprinter, and I can tell you he has the legs. But these Harlequin CC guys, they were the dark horses. You'd have a look at them. They certainly aren't old, they're not on walking frames or anything, but they are older blokes, and they did 2 things for me. One, they absolutely ripped my legs off, particularly in the road race, but they also made me realise just how bloody good cycling is, because these guys are competing at the proper limit of C grade. I think one of them wins the road race, and they're just, maybe a bit younger than my dad. And I just love that about our sport. There aren't many sports where you can be competing at a pretty good level. It just shows, and it speaks to like the longevity of cycling as a sport. In a lot of sports, you really have to get lucky to be able to get an extended career into your 40s. I know my brother is struggling playing soccer because of his ankles and the ankle injuries he's picked up, and really in cycling, I feel like it's kind of almost expected that you're able to keep riding your bike into your 50s and 60s, and I know 70-year-old riders that are still going out regularly on bunch rides, and you don't get that in other sports. So just an excellent advertisement for cycling as a sport from these guys from Harlequin CC as things really start to hot up here. And you got this dude on the left, he's a junior, he blitzed me in the road race, absolutely ripped my legs off. There was a point where we were in a group together, and I was trying to keep everyone together, I guess be like a bit of the road captain as we stare at Al's That was a thick ass right there. And it's kicking off. It's kicking off, ladies and gentlemen. And here we go. There's an attack, and we love an attack. I love an attack, and of course I have to chase it. And you can see Dubbo is in the back there, in the rear view mirror. It's a bit tough to see because for some reason, again, I've only got half a rear view mirror, but Burgess is off the front. If you thought I'd put this in my pocket, you were wrong. But again, this is really good because it can show you, this is me sort of trying to go on with an attack, and everyone's just sitting in the wheels. I did feel like this was a stronger attack than what is being presented in the what's there, but maybe this is why I just am unsuccessful. Anyway, come around here, and I'm coming down this straight, and I do something that I realise I'm being taken here, and so I slow down a little bit, and this is where I almost get chopped right there from the Dubbo bloke. And I've been watching a lot of pro cycling lately, and when they finish their sprint lines, what they tend to do is they sort of just hold their position, and I guess that's what I was trying to do there. He yells at me, "Don't stop." I don't feel like a stop there. You'll watch my watts and they don't completely come off. I just don't have the legs to keep that going, especially once I see people coming past me. So I just was trying to, stay as small as I can. Like I said, I've been watching the pro cycling, and when they drop off their sprint train, they just sort of fade back through the peloton rather than trying to go left or right. And there were people coming from my left and my right, so I didn't feel like I did anything too, egregious. But yeah, I pissed off someone. As you probably heard, I've muted the audio for the track so I can do the voiceover, but you probably heard someone have a bit of a bark at me. But anyway, we are coming up to the last section of the race, and I see Jeff up front there. He's like directly in front with those bright blue socks, and I just cannot lose to him. I ride with him every weekend. So we're coming up to the sprint, and I'm like, mate, I feel like crap, but I'm still in this. Let's go. So we're coming around this corner, and I'm having a crack. Jeff starts laying it out, so I start laying it out. We're both, he doesn't know I'm there, but I know he's there. And then, bang, on the right here, you'll see, huge crash, and the fight just goes out of all of us. And that's the crit race. Hopefully everyone's okay. No one hospitalised, but yeah, brutal. Racing, eh?